Hello, and welcome back to more Plebpla. We're here with the other half of my first third of the year builds of 2018. Next up on the list, after having covered these boys over here, we're going to go to these girls over here, starting with this is the Winning Fumina, I think it is, right? Yeah, Winning Fumina? Something to that effect. But as much as I'd seen so many reviews talk about how the articulation and the face sculpting were super creepy and weird, it had enough of a gimmick that I wanted to get it. And of course that gimmick is the armor parts become an SD. And even since I was a kid, I've always loved that concept where a toy has armor parts. But not only those armor parts, but they do another thing. And just a mild tangent, to buffer length of the video, ha ha ha. Where the Ronin Warriors toys were always, the best thing I ever had. I wish I could have collected more of them. But further was that there was a set of Ninja Turtle toys way back in that same, late mid-90s era, the Super Nintendo era, I'm going to call it. And I missed out because the Ninja Turtles had a set of shiny armor, and each of those turned into its old animal. But enough tangents. Back to Gunpla. I got this because of the armor gimmick, wherein it turns into its own model. So it's two models in one, in one. I don't like how this gun is got that. The gun is just a circular round peg, which, makes sense because the SD has to be able to hold it. But when it's in Fumina's hand, there's no grip for it to stay upright. So right now, the tip of it is caught on her armor, so she's holding it up in that pose. I did a little panel lighting as well on the chest and the skirt, where the black lines are normally just, flat yellow plastic. And I went ahead and I actually did the eyeliner and lipstick myself with, panel lining pen and the blob paint markers that Gundam sells. They're not that great. But that is that. Alright, let us get the zoom, and I'll do my best to even include a close-up of the face, because I am proud of the little bit of makeup that I included with that. Following that up is the second iteration, I believe, of the high-grade Hyakushiki. Char's Haiku Chic, if you like to type that into an autocorrect program. Char's Hyakushiki becomes Char's Haiku Chic. It's a running in gag, and I may cover that in another episode in the future. But I basically got it because it's the Hyakushiki and the Mega Bazooka launcher. It's a gimmick. It's its own gimmick. And I appreciate it. I worry that one of these days, after too much shifting and posing, these plastic cables here, they're not soft plastic. They're the same regular molded plastic as everything else. But I worry that they will wear out, they'll snap off, they'll break, and I'll be SOL. I guess just don't play with it too much, right? It is molded in this kind of mustard brown. When you get really close on it, you can see that it's shiny and it's supposed to be that, that dull natural gold without too much of the gloss. I still think it's kind of mustardy, but it's a lot better than at the time that they were doing the not undergated, or the terribly undergated, the original Hyakushiki that did have the gold top coat that scrapes off easily with your thumb, so you get left with either black or clear plastic underneath. It's not that great. It's certainly not up to par with the more modern Hyakushiki, but they haven't made a new high grade that came with the Megas booth. Makes me wonder if I got the high grade 200 Hyakushiki, if that would work with the Mega launcher as well. But I digress. Third today's is a Master Grade, and I'm not much for Master Grades myself. Master Grades tend to not cover the kits that I care about, rather the mobile suits that I care about. So it's kind of hit and miss when I get one. You know, the Hama Hama is great. I have both of the both of the X's, but this right here actually turned out to be a birthday present at a convention that I was at. I was like, hey, you know, it's my birthday this weekend. We'll be at this convention. Let's all hang out. And it's the same weekend that I bought this Hyakushiki. But an old friend of mine came up to me and was like, hey, I've got you a thing. And he handed over this master grade, you know, Endless Waltz Death Scythe. Yes, Endless Waltz Death Scythe. I do apologize for my stammering. I'm working with it. But he gave it to me, and unfortunately I'm still looking for a replacement box because the box itself had gone through a flood in his basement, or his house, which I don't recall exactly what. But the underside of the box had been through a flood many years ago. And the box is still fine. There's water and mold damage, but there's no active living mold on it. The box is safe, but I'd rather have a newer box. So if anybody out there has the Master Grade Endless Waltz Death Scythe box still and they're doing nothing with it, send that my way. Get in touch. But it's a birthday present, and I'm not going to turn Free Gunpla down, even if I'm not the biggest Swing fan. It was still a fun build, still appreciate everything, and even in this pose, it fits just right on that top shelf. Yes, let me go ahead and bring this up to get zoomed upon. That's for zoom. Alright. And lastly, for the last thing that I built just at the edge of April is the high grade beginning 30. And I've had not one, but two high grade beginning Gundams in my building career. So that's kind of, you know, all the stuff that I've gotten rid of also counts towards my 150. Man, I forgot to count those in, actually. But I digress. I got that during, it was the Black Friday sale on USA Gundam Store, and I did have a coupon code from a popular YouTube reviewer to get that, but it was the same quantity as the Black Friday code, so I got that, and I got a couple other kits that will be coming in the May, the May through September review, if I remember to do them. I got that. I got the ZEON Experiment, and I got the Dentalian from IBO. But having this, that is the most amount of clear parts I've ever seen. Like a runner and a half of nothing but clear effect parts. And I think it looks great. Maybe somebody thinks it looks a little gaudy. I think it's perfectly fine. It's still great. It was real familiar building it next to the beginning Gundam, which I broke parts on the beginning Gundam when I built the first one. It was way back before I was sanding and taking care of all the nubs, so it was all just nail clippers and a razor blade. And I went to take that apart so I could start cleaning up nubs, and I was trying to separate the ankle joint, and I completely snapped it out of place. And just ruined, gone, done forever. Bought a second one, didn't do it again. I lost the triangle part on this one, not the other ones, on this one. But fortunately, due to the extra parts from the beginning, I was able to replace that, and it's known the difference sitting on the bed. It's great. But I'm going to lean all the way over here and give you my outro. Thank you guys for watching. Check us out on our Plebpla Facebook page, wherein you too can be featured at the end of one of our Plebpla videos. Simply get in contact with one of us moderators directly on Facebook, or leave a comment in the pinned post on our community, and that will we'll get in contact with you and get a nice little gallery to show at the end of this episode. But with that, stay tuned for the feature, and as always, ZEON! I'll sit up properly.